Hello and thank you for joining me today. I'm reporting from the dump. Today we're going to be learning to play Golden State on the ukulele.
For Anita Langley. So if you think it's a great idea, you're welcome. And if you think it's a terrible idea, well, blame Anita Langley. But seriously, Anita, thank you for throwing some lettuce Terrence's way. All right, Anita, and you. I know you were particularly curious about the plucking at the beginning, the intro that's the same as the setting fourth intro. Because of the way the ukulele is with this pesky string, you know, that should be a lower string, but it's a higher string, I contorted my fingers into every possible shape known to man and some yet unknown to man to try to get this done, and I was always just one note off. So I picked my favorite way that I think it's the closest that you can get with being just one note off. It also happens to be a fairly easy way with no contorting whatsoever. So here we go. Remember, the ukulele strings are guys can eat anything. So we are going to put our fingers on C2 and E2, and we're going to pluck C, A, E, C. That's got a major third in it. The intro does not have a major third in it. It's still a D chord. You can play it along with it, and it's going to sound like a nice complement. Just one note's going to be different. Again, C, A, E, C. That's the first half. Then we're going to take our middle finger off that E string, and we're going to pluck... I already forget. There we go. E, A, C, A. That's the second half. So here we go. Here's the whole thing. Before we get back to the ukulele, I want to show you a cool thing about the D suspended 4 chord that I just realized on the guitar. 25 years. Here we go. So when you play D and then you play D suspended 4, you put your pinky on E3, right? That's a G note. The thing that Eddie likes to do over the D chord in this song and many songs is take his pointer finger off of the G string, right? That exposes the open G string. That's also a G note. So this is kind of a way to play D sus4. You never really thought about it, but you'll see how that's pertinent now. All right, of course, the chords for the verse of this song are D, which is 2-2-2 open, you are, and then B minor, which is 4-2-2-2, a hole in my, and then A major, which is 2-1 open open, D, B minor, A, D, B minor, A. But here's the thing that Eddie does on that D when he exposes that open G string, if we want to do the same thing relatively speaking on the ukulele, it's not quite relatively speaking because of this, again, pesky, this string is lower than it should be relative the way the guitar strings are arranged, right? So you can do it just the same. Make your little A shape, guitar players, which makes a D chord, 2-2-2 open with 3 fingers, and then your pointer finger's gonna come off that G string 2nd fret just like it did on the guitar, but you'll see it doesn't quite have the same effect. You might like it, you might not. It's kind of more ukulele strummy friendly kind of a sound. But since both of those things, remember, are D suspended 4, you could play D suspended 4 the old-fashioned way. Do 1 finger D here, 2-2-2, and you'll kind of mute that last string, and that's okay. And your middle finger is going to grab that E string 3rd fret. And that's also easier with the transition to B minor, I think. But if it's worth it to you to get the... sound different because they're the same note. That string open is the same note as that string on the 3rd fret. So you pick. All right, for the next part, the pre-chorus, it's a trick because the chorus doesn't come next. This song goes verse, pre-chorus, then chorus. But for the pre-chorus, the next part, we're going to play a G, which guitar players you will recognize as a D shape, open 2-3-2, to E minor, which is open 4-3-2. Back to G, And then in the guitar version, of course, he plays a C add 9 and then walks down on that A string to make it go C, B, and then he plays an A chord. But I think the best way to play it on the ukulele is just play a regular old C, which is, of course, the second easiest chord to play on the ukulele. The easiest being A minor 7. C is just 3rd fret of the A string. And then just play a G. The real chord is G with a B in the bass, but that's a whole thing here. You'd have to put your pinky finger on the 4th fret of that string. And we already have that note in the chord anyway, so it doesn't even sound like a bass note. So just play a regular G before you play an A. So here we go. G, E minor, back to G, and then C, G, A. All right, now the satisfying part, the chorus. It starts with a D. Then an E minor, you already know it, and then G, and then A. To sus4 A on the ukulele, you just plop your ring finger there on the C string 2nd fret, that's super easy. So, D, E minor, and then G, A, do it again. And of course the A the last time is longer and we can get that walk up. Just on the C string you make it go 1, 2, 4, and when you do 4 you don't need your pointer finger anymore, right? But on the guitar video that I did 2 days ago I was talking about how funny it sounds or sarcastic or clever to make it an A7, and you can do that walk up and make it an A7 by just opening that string up, and you still get the 4th fret of that string, so that's super fun to me. Walk away into the in-betweeny thing, or the inter-thingy as it's called in the deep Andes. It's E minor, G, and then A. You can do you can treat A any way you want there. Sus4, go to town, make it the crazy A7 chord, or just regular A7 chord. Hey, that's also the second easiest chord to play on the ukulele. But if you recall, between E minor and G, there was that little walk-up note, that tiny step at F sharp there, and the only way to do that here is, and you kind of lose all of your strumming there. I went up to the 6th fret on the C string and muted everything else. So do that or don't. And that just leaves the same last things to mention as in the guitar video from 2 days ago, which is to say the second inter thingy does the E minor to G thing twice. Before it hits the A. And then it goes into the verse. Whole bunch of times, and the last time it slows down. Doesn't go to D, it goes to G for the hallelujah ending, of course. And that's how to play Golden State the way Eddie Vedder did it a bunch of times, and also, of course, with Natalie Main's Anita Langley. Thank you so very much for the tortoise food. Everybody else, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.